a lot of the anxiety in sales comes from you having to try to do things. You want to try to close the client. You're not sure if you should get rid of another client. You don't know how to follow up with someone. You don't know how many times is too much. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to say. For me, in a lot of aspects of life, whether it's your relationships or whether it's your health, you want to create a structure that reduces or completely eliminates how much thinking and how much trying you have to do. And then you can just relax and be yourself in the sales process. You want to create a process that both attracts the right people and repels the wrong people without you having to actively pick people. Because once you start to actively pick and you start to discriminate, you start to treat some people this way and another people another way, you're never going to be quite as good because you start inhibiting your personality, you start to become judgmental, and you just have a lot of anxiety and insecurity around the sales process and around the follow-up process. So what I'm going to go through in this video is just sort of my step-by-step process, what I do for my business. We're closing at about anywhere between 40 and 60%. So very easy sales process. And how do we do it? How do we have really good relationships with our clients? I can't think of the last bad client that we've had in like the last 8 months. So let's kind of go through this process. For this example, we're going to use an outbound method to generate clients. So for in our case, it's cold email, but you can use cold calling or something like running ads to a funnel. I would also consider that outbound. But let's say these are leads that are coming that you're actively trying to reach out. Well, the big advantage with outbound is that you can specifically target people who really need you. And I think this is one of the most important things because you can always get inbound leads, like people see you on YouTube or you get a referral from someone. But the best leads, if you do outbound right, the best leads are actually you reaching out to other people. Over the last couple of years, one of the things that I noticed is if a company has more than 20 employees, and they've been around for a while, they get to a place where they can't afford to spend $1 million on a sales team, but unless they can solve their top of funnel issues, they can't grow the company because what happens is the owner does lead generation and does sales, so they can't focus on growing the company and fulfillment. So when a company gets to that size, they really need to effectively and cheaply solve the outbound problem or the top of the funnel problem. So that's where we come in. So I qualify my potential clients by doing research on them and identifying what matters. And this is something that we help our clients do. We're like, when we talk about how do you know who's the best potential client is, it's who can you help the most. It's who needs it the most and where is the most, who has money to spend and who can make decisions quickly. And it's also how good the product is and how good the offer is. So, but the number one thing is you want to qualify people, and you can do that through outreach. You can think about outreach. I use this metaphor a lot as being a really good looking guy. And you want to make sure as a good looking guy that you talk to women that you would consider going out with. So if you're talking to a bunch of women that a lot of which you wouldn't even go out with, you're sort of wasting your time. So when you want to have a really structured, efficient sales process, you want to spend a lot of it prospecting with clients that you know that if they're going to do a call with you, they're almost 100% of the time they're qualified. So that's the first thing is you want to choose the right people to sell to. And this is something that really only cold email or cold calling can do. You can't really do this with TikTok ads or something. So that's number one, is you want to target the right people. Second thing you want to focus on is you offer something in a cold email. You're like, hey, we do this on a performance basis. If it doesn't work, you don't pay for it, or whatever your offer is. What a lot of people do, and I think this is a huge mistake that businesses make, is they're pitching, they're following up. And the goal is to get a prospect to book a call. And in my opinion, this is the wrong approach, because what you're doing is you're qualifying how interested they are, And one of the best ways to do that is to actually book a call. So one of the things that we do for our business and one of the things that we do for our clients is we just book them in. Like if someone's like, hey, that sounds great, tell me more about what you do. I say, listen, we're signed for a couple of days. We have a few onboardings this week, but let's do a call. Let's say it's Tuesday. I'm like, let's do a call on Friday, like 2 p.m. your time. And if that doesn't work, shoot me a couple times for next week. So very informal, very like, and when I first started doing this, like we actually were really busy, so I had no choice. But now it's like kind of a quote unquote technique. So what I do is I say, instead of me saying like, oh my God, let me give you some more free stuff, let me give you this video, let me give you this, I still do some of that stuff, but I will test how interested they are by booking the call. Because let's say I book you into the calendar and I'm like, listen, I'm really busy. Let's do a quick call in a couple of days. And if that doesn't work, don't worry about it. Give me another couple of times. You're either going to say yes, or you're going to say no, but let's do Wednesday next week, or you're just going to ghost me. And if you're going to ghost me, it's not like you would have given me $1, right? Like if you don't even have, if somebody just asks you for a 15-minute call and you expressed interest initially and you don't want to show up for the call, it just shows that you're not that motivated. Like actions speak louder than words. So you can use just asking for a call to qualify the good clients versus the bad clients. You're doing this to attract the right clients and repel the wrong clients. And you do that when you book a call, but then you also do that in your sales process, where your sales process doesn't have to be, I'm so great, I'm so great, I'm so great, give me money. It can literally be you looking at their business, explaining their business from your perspective and how you'd help them and what you see in the market, and then just explaining the process and then not letting them sign up until they research you and exactly how the process works. You book another call for in a couple of days. And then your job on that second call or that third call or that fourth call is just to answer questions, resolve what they need in the contract, like deal with whatever issues they have. But you never try to close them. You just create an environment where, okay, they either buy or you schedule another call. They either go to the other call, then they buy on the other call, or you schedule another call, or they just leave. They'll be like, oh, we don't want to do this. And that's okay. It's okay if they leave, but you want to in when you have a good process, you don't have to try because there's always the next meeting. And all you have to do is hold on loosely to the lead and put them in an environment where they feel comfortable buying from you. Answer their questions, treat them like they're already your client. And half of them will turn into your client, but you never have to close them and sell them. A lot of what you do when you have a really high level sales process, you're selling things that are very expensive, you're selling to sophisticated people, is you're creating a structure. There's the pressure increases, but you're not increasing the pressure. It increases the way it increases in dating. Imagine you really like a girl and you go on the first date, you really like each other. And then you go out on the second date, you really like each other. And then you go on the third date, you really like each other. And then on the fourth date, you guys are together, you're on the couch in your apartment, there's no TV. Something's either going to happen or she's going to leave. And the sales process is the same way. The process itself passively builds tension without you having to try. You don't have to try to create anxiety. You don't have to pressure them. Just the fact that they're there and talking to you naturally puts pressure. And then they either sign up or they leave. And if you're okay with them leaving, you get more deals. Because people can tell if you can only handle what happens in sales. The reason people put pressure is people want to force people into a yes or no decision because they don't want people to stay on the fence. But sales is really about elegantly increasing the pressure, but you never want to create a situation where somebody feels like their back is against the wall and they either buy from you or leave. Think about a store that you went to where the salesperson was really charming, but every time you go, you buy something. And then you're like, I don't want to go. Like, you just don't want to go to the store. And you just go to Zara and buy a bunch of stuff because in Zara, nobody bothers you. A lot of times when you cling to them and you talk to them and it's almost like a harassment. So when you just like allow them to buy and present your offer and you're just like, okay, we'll just do what's best for you. Like, this is what we offer. That works so well. And that's all you have to do. You're like, a lot of you guys are just trying too hard and you're trying to muscle it instead of having a system that does the work for you. And because you don't have a structured system, you're always insecure. If you don't have a structure in place, it's like you're going to mess it up in a bunch of different ways. But if you have a good structure in place, you can be able to look at your calendar and say, okay, I have 10 follow-ups this week. I know 5 are going to close. Do I know which ones? No. Does it matter? No. Let them decide. If you know what matters, you only have to focus on what matters. If you don't know what matters, you're going to burn yourself out and fry your brain trying to do everything at once. It's a waste of time. Yeah, so those are just these are a few elements of the process that we teach clients of how do you attract the right ones and naturally get rid of the wrong ones without you having to try or push them away. So if you like this content, just shoot me just subscribe. Obviously, I post about sales and outreach and some personal stuff that people seem to like. So that's all here for you guys.